Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Town of Douglas Conservation Commission meeting for Monday, July 15th, 2019. It is now 7:03 p.m. First things, I would like to welcome the two new members that we have, Mark Munjum and Eric Harris. Thank you very much for volunteering your time and joining us on this wonderful summer night. 7 p.m. we have a public hearing continued, 161 Maple Street, Denise Davis. Is anybody here for that? Come on down.
Two copies of it. What is that?
You have a couple more.
Revised plans.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
So, the same ones that you guys sent last week?
Do you want to spread that one out?
Yeah.
Name and address, please.
Bruce Williams, Allen Engineering. At our last meeting, we had presented a conceptual plan, which included the house at the front of the lot.
Let's just maybe pull that up so they're a little closer so I remember to.
Better. We had presented a conceptual plan to the house at the front of the lot and a pond to be constructed in a riverfront area at the rear of the lot. This revision excludes that pond. There is no work to be done in the riverfront. All the work will take place. This pink line indicates the silt fence that'll be enveloped the site. Since the last revision, we've twisted the site to get this area further away from the wetlands. Initially, this had been 54 feet, I think, to the deck. It's now 68 feet. In addition, we've also lowered the site about 4 feet. That allowed us to relax the grades around the perimeter of the earthwork. So it's 3 to 1 or better around the perimeter. In addition, we've added a stockpile area, which is out of the buffer zone. Let's see. Dimensions have been added for the deck, burn. We added some notes regarding the fill, that it's to be clean fill, and the building department has approval of this adding structural fill if required. And in addition to that, in this area, Goddard Consulting has prepared a separate wetland restoration plan. There had been some early earthwork in this area subsequent to the site being logged prior to my client's ownership. So, we have a representative from Goddard here this evening. He will explain the restoration plan.
So what I asked is that I asked them, because it's two separate entities, where that they put the kind of the general location of where the restoration is going on there, and then on the plan reference that document with the title and the date. And then we can amend, we can actually put that in with the order of conditions.
Right.
So it's part of the order. So when people read the plan, they should have the order
Right.
be along with it.
So just a brief overview of the plan. We calculated it's about 2,160 plus or minus feet of wetland impact. Again, the property been prior logged in 2009 timeline. If you look at the packet, we have the aerials showing that instance. Given that, we assessed that the impact to, or new impact to the tree layer is basically negligible. The whole site is effectively cleared except for a few trees on the lower half of the site. So we determined that most of the impacts were therefore to herbaceous and shrub layer vegetation, and that's what we propose to replace. We're proposing a total of 30 shrubs, consisting of high bush blueberry and sweet pepper bush, 15 of each, 20 cinnamon fern, 20 sensitive fern, and then seed the entire area with the wetland seed mix. And again, we're proposing 2 years of monitoring per the town's requirements and general restoration standards, to be accompanied with monitoring reports, and then again, a 75% vegetative cover threshold to deem the restoration a success.
Where's the plan?
The restoration?
Yeah. Where's the replication?
Oh,
Could
so
you point to it on the
yeah,
your plan?
so it
Yeah, there's-
effectively is.
There's a clouded area on the sheet.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
see a little note. I thought it was just like the one left side.
Basically, it's from here down.
Yep. So yeah. So the wetland again kind of peels off the path. There's an existing logging path that again came down right in the area of disturbance prior to any recent disturbance. That logging path actually continues back onwards over this. There's a little berm here, continues on, and then into wetland over there. But recent disturbance is limited to effectively this clouded area.
Okay. And do you have the location and the plants identified on the plan? Or are you gonna do that?
That's
Yeah.
within
Okay.
their report.
Okay. So you just have a spacing called out?
Yep, spacing and number of
You think that's
plants.
sufficient enough? or-
We did
Yeah, I
provide,
think
you know,
he's got a
a,
little plan on his with
Yeah.
the,
with spacing
Okay,
and,
okay.
yeah, I think, you know, we stipulate that, you know, on-site spacing will, you know, construction will be monitored by wetland scientists, and
Okay.
on-site spacing may vary depending on, you know, local conditions, but in general,
Yeah.
it should be reflective of this plan.
typically, they usually have it on that given plan, but given his document's pretty detailed
Mm-hmm,
oriented, it'd be
Mhm.
nice to reference that document along with.
yeah,
If
okay.
that is referenced.
Okay, good, yeah. I can't read it.
Is there any grading associated with the restoration?
So really the only disturbance that took place recently was kind of the scraping away of topsoil, and then it was stockpiled right adjacent to the wetland. The goal would be to spread that back out with achieving at least 6 inches of topsoil throughout the wetland restoration area. We don't anticipate that there'll be any need to import soils to get that, since, you know, we have the soils there to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
If they are, we've stipulated that they would be from a clean source, free of invasives, trash, that type of thing, and have an organic content sufficient to maintain wetland plants 12 to 20% organic content. Other than that, yeah, we would be spreading it back out over the restoration area. If there's any compaction from machine driving through, we would loosen up the soil a little bit to aid in plant establishment. And then were some, not massive, but I don't know, 1.5 foot boulders that were also removed from the area. We would distribute those back out throughout the restoration area.
So this is previous activity that occurred within the wetland?
Yes.
When it was a logging area, the wetland area was unknown.
Previous owner.
Right, so they filed for the building permit, and when I went out there to sign off on the building permit, I had suspicion that this area where they were actually gonna put the house over here was wet. It was early spring, late winter, kind of frozen, but there's still some indicators, just the way the runoff was going. So a couple months later, they hired this consultant, and the whole thing, the wetland you see now is what came up.
One thing of note that I forgot to mention, there is a little bit of Phragmites up at the very top of that wetland, and we just intend to mechanically remove that at this point.
Okay.
So it's a restoration, not a replication that we're talking about here, and then
Well, that, yeah, because I don't think they're filling. So I
Right.
think they're just restoring what they disturbed in the area that was the wetland itself at one time.
Yes.
So hydrically, it bleeds out. I don't know if I have,
Yeah, we shouldn't need any grade to get the hydrology, the necessary hydrology.
here's a video of just at the tip. I don't know, it's pretty much right about here.
Yeah.
Going this way.
That's the area.
That's how you come in.
Going out to the road.
Mhm.
It's going out to the road. I'm up on the plateau, and then right to my right there is where the wetland starts. It bleeds out of the high groundwater bleeds out of the ledge.
Effectively wraps around that piece of ledge and then down the
So
wood,
there's a
the
flag.
tree line.
The house right now is going up to the right there. So it's A41, which is around here.
Not
right
a lot
here.
of material to hang flags on.
Yeah.
But you can see how the water's kind of going out, it's just bleeding off the side and it's continuous.
Clearing looks fairly recent.
This area, they were clearing, they had the bulldozer in there.
Yeah,
right where
so just,
I'm pretty much
some
standing.
kind of poking around. So the originally proposed before there was a realization that there was wetlands on site, they had proposed putting a driveway straight down through that area. And so there was a little bit of exploratory poking around with an excavator to see where the ledge.
That was drawn, it wasn't just exploratory, we had a site plan that was approved by the Board of Health, and we were completely unaware of the fact that there was any wetlands there.
Name and address, please.
Oh, sorry,
For the
Franz
record.
Burke, I'm the builder, and we'd previously been working off a plan that was prepared last fall, at which time we believed there was no wetlands on the property, and
Mhm.
that plan showed the driveway coming down that way, so since then we've restored that area.
And they've got it called out as recently graded.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's a big improvement from the last plan, with the grading and the removal of that pond in the riverfront area. You've got everything on there, you've got your foundation drain and your,
Yes.
what's
Yeah.
that, is that a D right there? Yeah, okay.
Yep.
Where's the well?
Wells over here.
Okay,
And we included a slurry pit.
okay.
And then the stockpile will be over this.
Outside the 100?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is 100.
Mm-hmm.
So this video here is, I'm taking pretty much where I'll start it over, it's pretty much where the house is, that's the stake for the house. I'm looking into where the riverfront area, and I'll just pan around to where the driveway is going, so. This is kind of going where the barn is going, off to the left, and then the wetlands is, you'll see the wetlands pick up right about here. So here's my car here. And so the driveway's, here's the, you can see the wetland starts right about here. So this is where, right to the right is where they're gonna be doing the replication. And then they're up on this knoll area here to the right. Before they were, I think the original house was proposed right where the wetlands was, down in that little.
Pretty much the driveway went right through where the wetlands
Yeah.
was, and that's why we scraped up the soil.
I think if you call out the limit of work on that tip where the wetland is, so you've got the driveway, you've got the pink,
Yep.
and then what's the distance there?
It's 10 feet to the silt fence. The driveway itself is 15.
So we're 15 feet off the
That's
BBW.
within- But that's within, the, you know, the regs of the, for putting a driveway.
Right, so just, you know, for the board's understanding, that we don't create any mowable lawn, so you have some plan of action to make sure there's nothing that's going into that wetland on that edge there?
In terms of
Within
like
10 feet.
long-term lawn creep and that type of
Mhm.
thing.
Mhm.
Would you like to see some signage or boulders proposed, something along those lines as a visual marker to
Maybe
separate?
some, and then you've got it pitched the opposite direction, or you've got it pitched towards the wetland?
It's pitched
Because I can't
perpendicular
really-
with the driveway coming
Okay.
down here. And then this area is pitched, there's a low point right over here. So the water will come down this way and then exit towards here.
Yeah, I just,
At that point, the water is flowing perpendicular
Okay.
to the driveway.
okay. Yeah, just as long as nothing ends up going,
Well, it's
Over
just
the
because I'm looking
years.
at the lines on here, it's 182 on this side of the driveway, it's 180 on this side of the driveway, so it's gonna end up being pitched towards the wetlands. So,
that's what I was thinking.
yeah.
Is that
Just
true
looking at the
over
markers.
there?
The water flows this way. The low point down here. Water flows at that point, the water's flowing this way.
So she's at 184, we're at 184.
184 to 180.
To That's 176.
But I'm looking at the 182.
But isn't there a crown? Is there a crown or is it
No.
going to be pitched?
It will be pitched away from the site, but the water will flow.
Looks like it's just going right down the
It's not
driveway.
sheeting
Okay.
off the side of
Okay.
the driveway.
Well, it should be, there's just this, I can't write on these, can I?
No, I prefer.
You can put some
Okay.
boulders on the left-hand side.
That's 180, and that's 182. Right in this stretch right here.
And does it say paved, proposed paved?
It is.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'd like to see a little something so that we're not going into that wetland there that you're restoring.
Mhm.
Boulders?
Yeah.
But I mean, the
You don't
boulders,
think it's an
Yeah,
issue?
I'm thinking, well, from a visual perspective, if that's what you're looking for, you're looking for stormwater prevention, runoff prevention. that type of
Right.
thing.
I mean, yes, the boulders
Infiltration
are.
And can it be
drains.
held on the path and then released? It looks like that's 177, so it looks like the low point, released here and
Given those ledge there and stuff.
That would actually be a bad idea because you're concentrating the water to one outlet and you will gain more erosion that way.
Boulders and stuff, that probably wouldn't be bad, but should they have some on the site?
Yeah, I mean, I just don't want to see like 25 feet and it be lawned area
Mhm.
on,
Right.
right at that spot. It's really close.
Mhm.
Well,
Yeah, I mean, on that respect, I think, putting, some large visual boulders to, separate
Yeah,
that.
as long as there's enough room to, do the plow and, you could always, can't swing it away, right?
No, the property corner is here. I mean, as far as future, you have a plan that shows the limit of clearing at 10 feet and the driveway at 15 feet. So if it ever gets to be more than 5 feet, then
Yeah, okay. I mean, if you could make it happen, it's just, it's close, that's all.
So one of my other comments was typically was the commencement schedule for usually the restoration work. Do you plan on doing that prior to issuing obtaining a building permit, or?
I would, I guess, defer to the commission, and that's how you typically, like to see things done in the town.
Case by case.
It's certainly something that I believe from a construction perspective, I have to defer completing the replication area prior to proceeding with other phases of construction.
could there be an agreement that's simultaneous?
Do
I
they
think we
issue,
can put a time frame on it. I wouldn't hold up the building permit. The
do they issue the
permitting for it.
foundation permit and the building permit separately?
No.
Sometimes they issue the foundation permit and the building permit.
Because of the need to redistribute soil back into the replication area, it's, probably going to be working pretty concurrently on that. We're gonna need to be in there, spread the soil, set up our ACBs, and then the
Mhm.
rest of the site will be surrounded. So I think, just at least from my understanding of the construction scheduling, it seems like it's gonna have to work out that way.
It would be better to do it simultaneously, but
Well, as long as you're doing, yeah, we just don't want it to finish the project and it's not being
updates.
worked on.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, you won't get occupancy if there's no bushes planted.
Mhm.
Well, we want to do it right away, it's just we're hoping, when we bring.
Yeah, I don't
machinery through,
have a problem
later
with
for
that.
the house, that we could do it at the same time.
Yeah, and I'll certainly be, up to date on my report and progress reports on, showing what's been completed.
Yeah.
So they're aware of.
Sure, if there's no action, then they'll come back in and give us an update and.
We can certainly do that, yeah. We'll
Okay.
be monitoring it.
Yeah.
I just want to let the commission aware. I don't have an issue with that. It's more of restoration than a
Mhm.
replication.
And it hasn't had much time to, repair itself anyway, since this year.
Yeah, so September's an ideal time for planting anyway, so we
Even
don't
moving
want
into the end of September,
Okay.
we don't want to plant.
In the winter time?
Well, no, we want to plant September versus, say, next spring.
Tomorrow. Tomorrow. Get your shovel
A little
out.
hot out there right now.
Morning time. Okay, I think, Board, do you have any other questions on the revised design?
This might be, why is the propane tank so far from the house?
Is it underground
It's gonna be underground, yes.
through the septic?
Okay.
Where did they end up putting it finally?
It's over by
Could
Yeah.
you show us
last
the line?
utility pole.
Can you show us the line that you have there?
I think part of the reason why it went there is because it has to be, can't be too far from the driveway for refilling. And we felt that
Okay.
that was, we didn't want to be on this side of the driveway.
Yeah, no, no,
So we felt
thanks.
that, you know, we didn't want to go over here because then the service truck can't reach it. So that seemed like the most logical place.
And utilities, you've got above
Yes.
overhead?
It'll be aerial to this point. And then
Did you put
below
viewer
grade.
poles on there?
Yes,
Yeah.
Okay, good. Oh, that was one of the
and then underground from this point.
Okay. Board? Anybody else? I can think of snow plowing, but there seems to be enough spots to plow snow off without dumping it into the wetland. Anything else? No? No? This is a public hearing. Anyone in the audience have any questions or comments regarding this hearing? Okay. Board, do we have any conditions? Just that, the plantings will be done, completed by the end of September?
Yep, and then the boulders.
Yeah.
And boulders between the 10-foot from the BVW to the driveway. 15, but between the 0 and the 10.
Yeah, those look nice actually.
What, just name the wetland flag, A40?
I believe that's
And A39. It's actually A39 is the one that's closer.
I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second. All's in favor?
Aye.
I'll entertain a motion to issue the order of conditions with the condition that the plantings be completed by the end of September 2019.
And the boulders.
And boulders be placed at flag 39, 39 and A39 and A40.
So moved.
And a second.
Second.
All's in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay,
very
good
much.
job. Thank you. Good luck. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, running a little behind. Public hearing continued, 41 Shore Road, Cheryl Price. Prince. Come on down. My price is right.
Hello.
Hello.
And I have some documents,
Okay.
commission. Hello.
So the document submitted, a new plan, the construction sequence, a letter from the arborist, photos of the site, recent project review checklist with proof of certified mailing and proof of certified mailing to DEP with the revised plan. Did you also include a memo on your expanding of the NOI scope with that plan?
What I did was I put I lengthened the description of the work.
Okay,
So I put a
On the
copy,
Mesa review checklist.
put a copy of that, everything we got today in everyone's package.
Thank you.
Yeah, and the
Construction
sequence, the
Yeah.
construction sequence really lays it out. what-
Okay, okay,
what
good.
will
I
take
just,
place.
it was a little bit vague, the advertisement and the description, so I wanted to make sure DEP knew exactly what was happening
Right,
there.
they get a copy of everything.
And we haven't heard back from them that they've received it, or did you get the certified mailings back?
No, I certified mailed them today,
Oh,
so.
okay, all right.
The arborist was there Saturday, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you say your name and address?
Fred Lapham, I'm with Shea Engineering,
Okay.
76 Uxbridge Road, Mendon.
All right, go for it. See the revisions.
Okay, and if you follow along with the construction sequence, it really is the chronological order in which everything will be done. We're proposing, and it's a little confusing, maybe a lot confusing, but when you hear the explanation, it'll make sense. We have a limited work area that I shaded in red here. Okay, that's the primary project. This is a septic system repair, and we're going to be installing a new well also. Right now, there's a dug well here, and we're going to have an artesian well about 5 feet away from it. Right now, there's a cesspool here sitting in groundwater. We're going to replace the cesspool with a tight tank, which will have to be, every time it needs to be emptied, it'll have to be pumped and carried off-site. So that's a plus, really, for this property. But back to the work area. This is the primary work area, and you can see I've shaded certain trees outside of the work area where trimming and cutting is proposed. Most of these trees are dead or so far gone that they're beyond recovery. And they're posing a problem. I do have some good site pictures, and
I have some, if you
you
wanna go through them, I can show the commissions for some of the new members.
Walked up there.
Yeah, you guys walked out there?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is Wallem Lake out at the Shore Road, at the end of Shore Road. When you come down Shore Road and take a right, there's actually a state forest gate here. So this is this parcel way out here on the left. And so this is the property here. And a couple of photos have some sun in the eyes, but you can see these are all in the front. You need to be cleared, right, for your septic system install.
Right.
And then there's some trees along the left side, this one here. And these on the right side. This is the area where you wanted to put some stone down.
Yes.
Because it gets.
That's we want to flank the building with pea stone.
So this one tree, the one that's not dead, but it's in your report, that's overhanging the beach. I think that's this pine. It's hard to see it because of just the way the photos
Is
come out.
that 27, is that number?
That may be.
Yeah, it is number 27.
Okay.
And we're really not proposing anything for that tree. I had the wrong tree originally, and
So
the
you're
tree
not
that
taking
it was
that one down?
supposed to be, we're not showing on the plan
But these
either,
here,
so-
these trees here, this one and these one, you can see as they get closer looks that they're
Those are okay.
dead hemlocks, yeah.
Oh, those are the dead hemlocks.
Yeah, you can see them right here. Hang on.
Oh,
You
yes.
see it right here, this hemlock right here.
23, 24, and
Yes.
25 are all the
Right.
dead hemlocks.
Here it is, here's a picture of it here. There's another one here. So these ones that are marked,
I think you're over in this
See.
area,
I'm in the
right?
front, yep, along the. This is one of these I think you had marked. to come down one of these pines
Yes.
along the beach?
That was probably number 24, which is 8-inch hemlock. Yeah, they're pretty imposing. They're not going to be standing all that long. It's surprising how quickly they come down once they are totally dead.
That looks like a white
We
pine.
do have some oaks out there too that are part of this maintenance or clearing operation. What we're proposing is these trees, and we did have the arborist address them as well, but these trees are of a size, for the most part, that they can be taken down and cut to length, and the logs can be carried to the front of the property where they'll be removed from the site.
No stumping?
We don't want to have any stumping on any of these areas. This is also a habitat area, so we're proposing, and these areas are also not, it's not lawn, it's not like you're in a manicured yard. You can see the property is very, very natural in its appearance, and some of the vegetation has grown much bigger over the years and now really poses a danger for the house and for the people if you're outside in the yard. We're proposing that these trees be cut to length, carried out, and the stump left as is. So that would be number one of our construction sequence. We want to get that work out of the way and done before we get into the meat and potatoes of what we're here for.
So 1 to 27? You got 1 to 27, but you have 28 now?
Well, we have 28 is out here. That's
Oh, this-
outside of the work area also, but that is a, 28 is
It's a red
a
oak.
28-inch oak. It's a very large tree, and it is dead.
Where's
It
that
needs to
located?
come down. It's right out front. We have electrical wires going right here. We have the well here, and keep in mind, this is a 10 scale, 1 inch equals 10 feet, so this is a very small property, probably compared to what you're used to looking at as far as scale goes.
You have trees shaded in green on your plan. Are those the trees that are going to be removed? Or
Yes.
those the ones you're proposing to?
Those are the ones that are gonna be removed, except this one, excuse me, this one actually is off our property, but I do have a picture if you're interested in seeing it, but the top of the tree actually hangs over the house. So we're gonna have to trim that off at some point over the property, so that we can remove that danger.
But you haven't greened in all the trees that are getting
No.
removed, so
No,
you
and-
just brought these up for,
No, he has, the ones that are white are staying up.
Well, actually,
There's
all
28.
the trees, most of the trees are within this work area.
so I'm just trying to, yeah,
And
for
all
the
the
board.
trees in the work area have to be removed just in order to accomplish what we're accomplishing.
You missed the shading on one.
22 and 27
This one?
are,
No, I mean TR1 should have shading on it.
that's trimming.
TR1.
Oh no,
The one that's trimming is TR22.
22 and 27 are just gonna be trimmed.
Right.
And the rest, so 26 are gonna be removed.
27 isn't mentioned in this report.
Right. 27 is just there.
Trimmed.
And we're not touching it, we're not doing anything to it.
Okay, I was
It's
just
not on the
mentioning
list either.
that it wasn't in the list.
To be trimmed.
Oh,
Okay.
yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
Sorry,
No,
I thought I took that off.
No, you don't need to apologize. So just, in addition to the green, all the white within the work area are also being removed, so.
Yep.
Right.
And your tree report is only addressing,
Outside the wetland.
okay,
The arborist wanted to leave 21 alone. He thought there was some chance of recovery. So it's
Okay.
there, but we're not doing anything with it.
Yep.
yeah, so 21 mostly
It's
doesn't
out
look-
there.
It's leave
And that
there,
one's so tall.
But it's staying there. It's fairly tall, but
21's
he
off
thought
to
it
the
had a
right.
chance of recovery.
That one.
Mostly there.
That's the
That's my
natural
opinion.
east all
That's,
east.
that's my,
Right, so
uh,
there's, so that is the wetland.
Oh, yep.
So how are we getting that tree down that's in the wetland?
that is, it's gonna be dropped right where it is. We're gonna have to get a tree climber in here. Again, this is a tree that the limbs will have to come down one by one. They're gonna be cut to length and they're gonna be carried to the
Yeah,
work
but Who
area.
owns that property?
Cheryl Prince, she owns it.
We have
She owns 2 lots.
Not that one.
Oh,
Commonwealth
Yeah.
of Mass owns the one that you're just trimming
Yes,
the 22.
yes.
okay.
Yeah, she owns this lot.
So you have on here no machinery in the wetland?
That's right.
Okay.
No machinery in the wetland or in the area behind the house.
Okay.
There's really no way to get equipment
There,
back there.
anyway, yeah. And you were not able to put the construction sequence on here? on the plan?
It's fairly lengthy and the plan is so full. I do have a separate document. It
Yeah.
could be attached to the order of conditions, maybe?
Okay, that's okay. Nope. Yeah, just if somebody picks up this plan, it doesn't have that piece of paper. So we can incorporate it into the,
Order.
order.
Yep.
One of the other features you had mentioned, I think, Steve, you had brought it up, is filter sock. So we do have that set up as part of our,
For dewatering,
for dewatering only.
even though this time, you're doing it this time of year.
Yeah, you're
you
still
don't-
gonna get water.
You're gonna hit high groundwater, just
Yeah.
the nature of what's out there, that'd be great,
Yeah.
yeah.
And how are you laying the piece down?
I have a very brief description. It's this work beside the house on both sides. And you can see it on Steve's pictures. The ground underfoot is very, it's muddy.
Yeah.
So we're trying to get away from the mud and come up with a finish texture that's gonna be workable and less muddy, keep your feet up out of the water. So that's the goal there. And we are containing it with a strip edging, a landscape edging.
Yep.
And although the owners may have some, they may want to use something a little nicer than the strip edging that you get at Home Depot. And if that were the case, we could always give you a drawing of it,
Yeah,
whether it
you
be
said already
pavers
equal.
or.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just,
It's gonna be a-
very close there.
Yeah, it is. It's a mess, too. It's a mess to walk through it in the springtime. So this is really going to stabilize that area.
Okay.
Not a lot of work, but it's pretty important.
Or do you have any questions?
I'm trying to find a couple of trees that I can't see on the plan. 26 and 28?
28 is out front here. You have the updated plan?
Yeah.
Okay, there's 28, yep, and 26 is right here.
26 is right
Can't see it.
There's some other stuff right around it, so it's kind of
Oh,
hard
this
to...
is the least concerning tree. It's the one that you're looking for, the 28.
No, I-
28.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
Steve showed the pictures of the back of the house towards the water,
Uh-huh.
It doesn't show
I
all
thought
those.
it showed a pine and a couple oaks, and I'm not seeing them listed.
I
on,
took one of the trees off, it was a 30-inch hemlock, and it was over here, right on the edge of the water. There
It's not
is,
showing
when
that.
I saw that tree, there is no way that we can safely and effectively remove that tree. It's not totally dead.
This is them right here. Right? Let's see if I pan
Well,
up.
no,
Yeah,
first
it would
referring
be
to
to
one
the
on the other
left.
side.
Not these?
No,
But those are to be removed, these ones here, correct?
no, no,
You're not
those
removing
are
those?
staying.
Those are staying?
Yep,
So you're not noting all the trees on this plan, you're only noting the trees? to
just
be
the
removed.
ones that were, we
That's my
either,
confusion.
Yeah.
there are
That's
some
my
relics of
confusion.
an earlier idea where this tree just needs to be removed.
Yeah.
But, yeah, we're just showing the trees on here, shaded trees that we're gonna do something with, and all the trees in the work area have to be removed.
Yeah, because I wasn't getting a feel for how many trees there are on the property.
No.
I'm thinking everyone is gone, looking at the
Right.
plan.
Yeah, typically
And
we
there were gonna be
have,
none left between the house and the water.
yeah, typically we
So-
have all the trees shown,
Yeah,
but
so I'm happy to hear that there's trees that are staying.
Oh, yeah, and there's little ones that are
Shocking.
Well, and
growing.
the one, especially the ones along the water's edge, so that brings up the, I mean, I think you did a great job revising the plan and addressing all the commission's concerns, so appreciate that. The big issue would be is that Wetland Lake is a cold water and warm water fishery, so the shading of the bank is critical for the habitat in that area, so that's why I understand the concerns, there's good concern of not clear cutting everything,
Right.
heating at that shoreline. You did submit the information in Natural Heritage today?
Yes,
So we
Yeah.
haven't heard back from them.
right.
yeah,
Yeah,
we
so
will
you
need
have
to
to
hear
really-
Just show
back from them.
show the commission or the new members the jurisdiction of the endangered species, so it's a ring around the lake.
Yeah.
So it starts.
It's kind of funny, it starts over here, goes down the lot line. It's easy to understand their intent, they wanted to eliminate this house. Except the bigger picture of the polygon that is on the Mass GIS, I think this actually
It's over there, yeah.
is over here. But
It's
we
hard to
just,
scale, it's hard to scale that.
we,
Right.
well, yeah. You can't, when you're going around a pond and you have another graphic that you're trying to line up with the pond, this is Mass GIS now, you're just not gonna match it perfectly.
Yeah. The thickness of their line is a couple
Right.
hundred feet. Right.
Yeah, that's right.
But regardless, you sent the notice to them, so.
I did. We made it an official, simple project filing.
Thank you. Board, any other questions?
I guess my next question is there any proposed planting?
In lieu of these trees, these have just died. They have either gotten the hemlock disease or there's a lot of signs of gypsy moth caterpillars all over the place out there. You can see Mother Nature is taken over, those trees die, more light gets to the ground, and the ground is just alive with all the species of the neighborhood. So there is good recovery going on already. And I fully expect that if they don't select some trees to encourage, and some trees, some of this growth in here, it's gonna get weeded out as the competitive nature takes its course. Some trees are gonna grow up and some trees just aren't. But there will be trees back there.
So there's no proposed plantings, you're just...
Not in this area. The only,
Proposing it be
we're
reclaimed
just
naturally.
proposing some landscape planting out front, that's all, just to soften the look of the front of the house.
Would said
Nothing
lands-
replacing the trees that they're taking down.
I'm sorry?
No replacement of any bushes or anything.
Would the landscape, because the landscape planting isn't on this plan, would the landscape planting be native species?
Sure, we can condition it on that.
These are really decorative plantings here for the house.
Right.
Had you thought of,
I had thought
These are
that
the-
that's a
the
raised
owners.
bed above the tight tank. I had thought of enjoying putting some perennials in there, because we are so surrounded by, and also it seems like where the well and all the pipes and all that, we have to be careful about not growing too much. Like I didn't know about like more of an ornamental tree in the middle, to soften that. Because it's going to be a shock to our system too, not to see these trees anymore. I don't want them to go, but I guess they have to. So, so I think I was looking to understand where things can go in that big rectangle, other than the ornamental stuff that's right behind the cottage or right in front of the cottage. That part I thought would be like perennials, like, hostas, ferns, and then further back in the yard, probably, I could see, some sort of bushes that aren't gonna have roots that interfere with all the stuff that's running underneath
yeah, we do
there,
have a lot of utilities out front. And again, keep in mind, this is a 10 scale, so, it's 50 feet wide across this property. In the 50 feet, we have a driveway right here. We have a well right here that's probably 15 feet off of the driveway, and we have the tight tank that nothing should really be planted on top of that except maybe perennials or some type of
Like flowers.
flowers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
flowers.
But we really wouldn't want to fill this area back up with substantial vegetation just because this has to be maintained, and if you let it grow wild, we're gonna have this situation again in a number of years.
We're gonna have to continue this hearing anyway, so you can maybe think about what your game plan is and where you can coordinate, look at the plan. So we have to wait for natural heritage and DEP to make sure that they've received everything if they have any comments. So you can think about it and let us know. You can have the answer.
Anything invasive.
Yeah, that's what
Right.
the whole point would be on that. Yeah.
And I assume that you might have a list somewhere of, like, nice.
Steve does.
recommended, yeah.
Non-invasives,
Yeah.
plantings. Yeah.
And we had hostas and ferns in that area pretty much.
Mhm.
That was about
Yeah.
it.
That's right.
Yeah.
Shady stuff. Mm-hmm.
Well, 7 o'clock.
Okay. All right, Board, any other questions for right now? No? Okay. Anyone in the audience have any questions or comments on this? No? I'll entertain a motion to continue the public hearing for 41 Shore Road to August 5th at 7 PM.
So moved.
In a second?
Second.
All's in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you very
Looks
much.
good.
You said 7 o'clock?
7, yeah, on August 5th.
Is there gonna be a site walk
We've gone on our
of
own,
the,
I think
okay, everybody's all set?
Yeah.
All right.
but there is an opportunity if anybody still wants to
I
go.
hadn't gone yet, so I might go.
Okay.
Okay, if anybody needs me there,
We'll call you.
Just let
We'll
me
call
know.
Steve. Steve will call you. Your people,
Yep.
talk to our people. Thank you.
thank you.
7:30 PM, we're running a little behind, 7:40. Public hearing continued, 49 and 53 Woodland Road, Deer Crossing Development LLC.
Yep.
Pass that
No,
over
that's-
to me.
that's
Oh,
not-
jeez. Oh,
No,
Alright,
it's a
oh,
W.
no.
So this one, or rather an accordion, this one goes this way, and then the other one goes the opposite way.
no. So you can see the title block when it's closed. It's pretty much the point of that.
I know, it's a lost art.
You need to have sharp edges. This is not as sharp as, we like to see. Whole thing.
There's gonna be a guidebook on that somewhere.
Yeah, it's in PE school, isn't it? That's the, not yet.
I have to take my earpiece down.
Yeah, I'll do it. Good evening.
Good evening, I'm Tim Nealon, representing Deer Crossing Development. And we have made some changes to the plan since you've last have seen these. But briefly, the property line is shaded in pink. The wetlands line is right here in the green. The blue represents siltation control. This is the 25-foot, 50-foot, and 100-foot for the buffer zone. So what we've added to this is we've moved the well a few feet to get it out of the buffer zone here. And we've moved the anti-creep rocks a little further away from the wetlands.
Nice.
So they're right along on the 25-foot. And we've added 3 check dams to help control the runoff during construction. And they are right here. They're hard to see. They're just little black things circled in with red. And
That's what
those are the
Katie
changes.
Grace wanted. She got what she wanted on that one.
Is this the project with the shared driveway?
Mhm.
It is.
Yes,
Yeah, I remember now.
that's why we have the 3 here.
Oh, that's great.
Okay. I think looking from the minutes, you've addressed everything that we had concerns about. Or do you have any questions on this? They've been here a few times.
No,
Steve?
I don't know, I think him and Tim have done a nice job
Dave?
addressing all the concerns of the commission.
Okay. Anyone in the audience have any questions? No? I'll entertain a motion to close the,
Which one is this, the first one listed here, which is really the 2-lot thing?
yeah, it's the
Yeah, okay.
57A, lot 57A, but number 49.
Number 49.
Just the house lot, not the replication or the crossing. Right? Just the house lot.
So it's actually
Just
the
the house
second
lot.
one.
Second.
It's the second one.
No,
The first one's the crossing.
oh, sorry.
That's the change.
We're at 49 and 53,
Yeah. this
not
is 40.
49.
Oh, 49, so that's the combined with the,
But at least now we know how the next one's gonna go.
Good catch, Mike. Good catch.
Right.
Okay.
so this is the actual driveway, the wetlands crossing.
Okay, so yes, this is 18-foot wide, 241 foot long, shared driveway, underground utilities. We've got electrical. What were your revisions on this
On
one?
this one, we reduced the size of the riprap on the downhill end of the culvert right here to, scales out to about 5 by 10. We added 3 crushed stone aprons. One here, one on this side of the driveway here, one right here, and then another one up here, as a matter of erosion control, water control, actually.
Where did the stockpile area end up?
There's one here in the purple, and then another one up here.
Other end?
Purple up here,
Which eventually is where the house goes.
which with the house over here.
Yeah. So what,
And-
sorry,
Excuse me.
what does the crushed stone do? It helps with erosion control?
Not really erosion control, I'd say water control, to prevent the
which-
driveway from
Of
breaking
where?
down.
Coming out of the pipe? Or along this?
Oh, is that I guess that's the part that's unclear to me.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, the aprons are.
Well, there's an apron, no,
Yeah.
that would help dissipate, I guess, with the water, when it's coming out of the pipe, it helps slows down the velocity of the
Okay.
water coming through the pipe, so
Yep.
you don't have the, slows down the velocity, so the erosion slows down, so you don't get eroding downstream,
Yep.
because you're constricting it, if you have a flash, 3-inch
Oh, yeah.
rainstorm. And then I think along the driveway is probably dissipating when it rains, it's not gonna drop and roll under, so it's gonna
Yeah.
control the volume of the water.
I just wanted to make sure you didn't have to
It's gonna
crush.
dissipate the flow probably
Yeah.
from eroding.
Okay, yeah, no, I didn't realize there were pipes there. I was just making sure because.
The pink is the pipe,
Yeah, this is a
Oh.
culvert right here.
that's a culvert,
Yeah.
Yeah,
in the middle of
okay.
the green, which is the wetland.
Yeah.
So there's a little tiny stream that comes and goes, so right where they put this is right where there was actually a little bank, it's hard to see it.
Mhm.
Is there water right now?
No,
No, just mostly in the spring and.
that's it, high groundwater. And I mean, the wetland just comes off the hillside. It's not a swamp or anything, it's really high groundwater. This area of town is funny, right, Tim?
Yes.
You can't dig a well, but you can, you go down 5 feet, you'll find water.
Yeah.
And we've added the row of anti-creep rocks on both sides of the
Mhm.
driveway. The stockpiles, as we just pointed out, and we modified the construction sequence per our discussions, and
Mhm.
they're on page 3 of the packet of the plans, but I made copies of it
Right.
for the commission if they wanted to review it.
So we can incorporate that into our order
Yeah.
also. And the wetlands were reviewed by Art Allen.
Art was here a couple times, going over the replication and the location for it, and
What are all the black dots?
Well,
I was looking at your legend over here, they can't all be drained.
These are
Manholes.
actually certain trees
Okay.
that Alan wanted identified.
And
And
the
these
other ones are
dots are the
rocks.
rocks,
The smaller ones.
smaller dots.
So none of them are drain manholes. Oh no, wait, the ones on the street are. Okay. You're good.
The catch basin? Is that what
Oh,
you're
these,
talking about?
this is part of the road drainage,
Yeah.
which is in existence.
Mhm. Okay, now that we cleared up, this is just for the crossing.
And the driveway tees off up here at the top?
Yes, yeah.
The
right.
splits?
Yeah.
Yeah, splits. The project we were just looking at, it was here.
And the replication would be tied to this DEP number.
Okay.
So, 09731. Okay, we good?
Did we have to do any replication for the other two lots?
Mm-mm.
So it's all here. All right,
it's all
great.
there, yeah, they're all up on the
Mhm.
knoll.
Yep.
Mhm.
Okay.
So, we're addressing both of these?
Just
Just-
the
just first one.
crossing piece.
Just number,
First one.
just
the
seven,
first one
just
up
a
front.
7:30 PM
7:30.
hearing.
We kinda
49 and
already talked about the
53.
7:35 one.
So
Sorry.
so there was clarification from DEP
I think that
we-
was Tim's fault.
We asked for clarification from DEP that
I
it's
heard
okay,
49.
that it's okay to have the three DEP numbers for the two lots.
Mhm.
Hmm.
I hope magically everything will be completed all at the same time.
It really will, I think, has to be.
Okay, all right. Yeah, sounds good.
Confusing.
All right, entertain a motion to close the public hearing
So moved.
Which one are we closing?
for
7:30.
7:30,
The first one.
49 and 53 Woodland Road.
Thank
Seconded.
All those in favor?
All
you.
right.
Aye.
Does somebody want to try the motion? You want me to keep going? We'll be here all night
We move to accept the plan as shown
and issue the order of conditions.
and issue the order of conditions.
Adding the construction sequence.
Yep,
plan to the order.
incorporating the construction sequence.
This is how they appear on the plan.
Okay. So we'll incorporate the construction sequence into our order.
Can I have this?
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah, I'll second that motion.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Thank you. Okay, 7:35 PM. Public hearing continued 49 Woodland Road, which is 57A.
lot, which is the one we just.
Yeah, so we had the, check dams.
The check dams, we moved the anti-creep rocks, there are the check dams right there, we moved the well a few feet up here in the corner, get it out of the buffer zone. Those were the only changes.
Where was the well before?
It was in the same basic area, but it was just inside the buffer zone.
So it hasn't
He
been-
was able to move it without it affecting the septic system.
Board, any other questions? Anyone in the audience have any questions? Entertain a motion to close the public hearing for 49 Woodland Road.
So moved.
Seconded.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Someone wanna try the,
I move to issue the order of conditions for 49 Woodland Road, construction sequence?
yeah, this one doesn't really have one.
It doesn't have one, okay.
Yeah.
Yes, so to issue the order, yep.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, 7:40, public hearing continue 53 Woodland Road, the easiest of them all.
Yes. And again, the property line is in the pink, the wetland is the green, the blue is the erosion control, and the 25, 50, and 100. So the house and this part of the driveway is out of the buffer zone,
And the septic.
and the septic.
Mhm.
And the septic.
Where was the well on this one?
On this one, the well is,
Right there. The yellow, this one. Then there's a siltation.
yes. So we added two check dams.
Yep.
Over here, these two right here on that lot. And we placed the anti-creep rocks, those black dots again, on that side. And that was it, that's all we did on this one.
Yeah. This one. A little less tricky. Board, any questions? Anyone from the audience? And entertain a motion to close the public hearing for 53 Woodland Road.
So moved.
Second.
All's in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
I move to issue the order of conditions for 53 Woodland Road.
Second.
All's in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Woodland? Oh, I just had it up. So it's down South Street.
Okay.
Okay, you're all set.
And,
Thank you
So
very
we'll,
much
house
for
there
your
with the
patience.
silo?
and-
You're welcome. Good luck with everything.
Yeah.
The subdivision? that's Woodland.
I've got them in here. They'll be signed
And I lived
tonight.
by there, I didn't know that
Thanks.
before.
So if you call Maria tomorrow,
The
she
second
can
set, the
probably
second
give them
entrance
to
has
you.
like a nice fence.
You're
and
welcome.
stuff.
Yeah,
That's the newer subdivision. They're building on the houses. The first one's older.
actually, a nice over there.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Okay, next on the agenda, 7:50 PM, public hearing, 131 Franklin Street. I'm going to recuse myself and send this over to my vice chair
Why is that?
to,
that?
because the company that I work for designed the septic, and I stamped it.
Wow.
It has been already approved, so it shouldn't affect anything.
With the mailings and stuff like that.
So Mike's gotta read the,
Is this the one with the backhoe?
the what?
The one with the backhoe?
No.
No, this has a.
It's already been approved, it's
That
already
one's not
done.
done? Okay.
Yeah,
I remember seeing
we're not
the
going back in
picture.
time.
Okay.
I'm just gonna sit at the table, if that's okay.
Yeah, that'd be great.
We were holding him.
I need to read this?
Yes, please.
Town of Douglas Conservation Commission, 29 Depot Street, Douglas, Mass. Blah, blah, blah. 01516, legal notice for public hearings. Town of Douglas Conservation Commission, 29 Depot Street, Douglas, Massachusetts. Zip code 01516, legal notice for public hearing. For Michael M.
You skip one, goes right to the town of Douglas.
Oh, I thought I already said that. For the town of Douglas, we'll hold a public hearing for Michael and HOVAGIMIAM? What is that?
Second.
Okay. On HOVAGIMIAM on July 15th, 2019, at 5:50 PM in the Municipal Center, 29 Depot Street, for work to be done pursuant to the Town of Douglas Wetland Bylaw and the Wetland Protection Act, MGL 131, Section 40. The proposed work location will be done on 131 Franklin Street and involves demolition of existing house, construction of new house, and install of new septic system. Leslie Stevens, applicant for 131 Franklin Street. It's there twice. Is this a public hearing? Do we open the public hearing?
Yes. And it's 7:50. No, 5:50.
Did I say
It's okay.
5:50?
Yeah, it's okay.
I
We'll
caught that.
we'll get it bigger next
Copy of the
time.
plan.
Good job, Mike. Let me just put this in the folder.
Shared.
There you go.
There we go.
And I do gotta, going back and forth, I do have a Zoom in copy to share, because I know Steve, we're going back and forth on comments, so I just want to provide that to the.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a plan that we're working on. Steve, you're gonna do a
Yeah,
copy?
just typically, I mean, just for, I know the survey likes to put the entire lot, but
Yeah,
for
everybody.
the project, we can do 20 scales a little easier to read.
Okay. Are you okay if we lose the back and just focus on the front with the 20 scale?
Yeah, it's fine, the blow up's good,
Okay.
so the commission can see it.
Okay. All right. Because I mean, I do have plans to update the initial plan, which would be this, and then if you want, I can kind of blow it up and use the top half if you want to show that.
Yeah,
That's acceptable.
yeah.
Okay.
Usually, you know, you don't have to show the entire parcel, just to,
Everybody's different for every town. So, so what's being proposed is, you know, the house, existing house in red, would be removed, and it touches into the wetlands about 42 feet into the wetlands, from this back area here, right here, 42 feet from the existing, and the back corner is about 45. It's probably the most challenging site that I've had to deal with in a while. So, working with Steve, we've exchanged a number of comments back and forth. I think it was submitted on June 18th. Steve and I had one discussion prior to everything getting filed and in your packets. So we're proposing a 24 by 48 house. We've already met with the ZBA regarding the front variance and special permit needed for that. One of the items, I guess we can go through the items list, Steve, if you want to.
yeah, I mean, let me, if you want, I can take a video of the, maybe so the commission can see the,
Property and go.
property. Let me see.
Okay. The owners.
So this is
based on-
from the, am I taking it from, is this the right house?
Yeah, that's the right house. This is side view.
So I'm at the dog kennel area, in the back of the house, and,
Steve, can you pause it for a sec? That's what I highlighted in this lollipop type of striping. That's a dog kennel pad where Steve is.
Oh, that's okay. That's
So-
why it drops off significantly after
Well,
that.
it's also a discussion item that Steve and I were discussing, so I wanted to show that with a little striping in red for the board, because Steve and I have talked about that.
so let's see the
We
flag. I mean,
talked about what's proposed for that.
We talked just about that location itself, the dog kennel location.
So the flagging is, it's pretty much right where it's dropped,
Yep.
total slope, it just kind of drops off, and then even on the back side over here, the wetland.
That's a dog kennel pad
flag.
right there. It was a large
So
dog kennel.
you're right on the 50-foot buffer, right? The house.
The house is right on the buffer line. It's actually currently it's 42 feet away. So we're looking to do an improvement to be, you know, approximately about 47 feet away versus 42. So,
So you're proposing to take out this house that we're looking at
Correct.
now?
correct. And we would lose, Steve was pretty quick with the video. We would lose the back portion here that you see here in red, that
Yeah,
abuts that orange. That goes away.
that's got a
completely.
pretty big foundation on it, you're gonna have to
It's-
dig that out.
It's all stone based,
Yeah, okay.
on a dirt floor. So, yeah, we try to bring that back to that, grade where it is and blend it in. The current proposed house is actually slab on grade. There's a copy of it and stuff. That's, I believe it was in your packet as well.
Yeah, so some of my comments, well, one, did DEP give a number yet?
Not yet. I think they got bogged down with the 4th of July holidays.
Maybe up, it's just 20 scale.
Yep.
Is the house going exactly where the existing one is?
It-
It's hard to tell which one.
It's in blue there,
You can see
Steve.
it's superimposed.
It's pretty close.
It's close to it and stuff like
Alright,
that. What we're doing is we're losing that back portion of the house. That really is right on that 50-foot line. So that's basically being incorporated into the new area.
And then you're using the existing well,
Yes, the plan is to use the existing well.
and then the well, usually digging the well line, so if you have to dig a new well line, that's usually they probably,
Yeah, we're gonna hope not to, there's already the existing line that's already ran.
Mhm.
So we're gonna hope to use the existing line
good.
by all cases and.
No trees are being removed.
These guys were breeders.
Way before my time.
And so my big issue is the dog kennel, so,
Yeah.
if you're gonna,
There was-
if you're gonna remove it, because typically a new family would put a shed or something there, and then, usually you got fertilizer and oil and
That's correct,
everything
yeah.
else.
Yep.
So the only tree I think is at risk is located in this upper corner, by the road area. Not in this gravelled areas. Yeah, sorry, Steve. Let's see. Yeah, okay, pause right there. It's almost, it's that little pine tree right on the other side of that truck. That's towards the road area. Yeah, Steve's headed towards it right now. It's that little one right there. See that guy? He's got,
That's a specimen there.
yeah, that's the only, I try not to remove any trees unless they're in the footprint.
Totally understood, yeah, agreed.
And so, I get yelled at more for that,
Christmas
because
tree.
people don't like to deal with the trees. But I try to preserve as much as possible.
Yeah, so some of my big comments were the dog kennel and an existing driveway. The gravel driveway
Yeah.
that's off to the left,
I'm
this area.
I'm looking for feedback and input. Steve and I had, what the board's directions, but Steve and I had an initial conversation about it. I'd be open to removing it and just putting it right back into lawn, removing the dog kennel pad.
Let's see if I
That's what
have-
I'd be for.
This is it right here, the gravel drive.
Right, because you already got that truck parked there.
Yeah, there's the gravel driveway is shown to where it continues, the existing. That right there, that's the existing, and then this is the pad. So I kind of want
It's
to
going
take.
right through the septic, you're not gonna, so it's not gonna be a driveway anymore.
Correct, it's not gonna be, so let's address the first issue is the dog kennel pad that's there. We did propose landscaping and to maintain grade and, if the board's open to it, then I think from Steve's feedback is to remove it. Remove the pad, which is concrete based, and put that back into the lawn area.
Yeah, as long as you can do that without hitting the wetlands. If your only risk is the tiny tree, then.
Yeah, the trees over here and stuff like
Oh.
that, by the road area. We would remove this pad here and just basically grade that back into lawn. Might as well do it while, and it would be around the erosion control buffer.
I was gonna say,
stuff.
yeah,
And
so
so
you make
we-
sure you're pulling everything
Right.
in.
We break that up and then be able to use that, so, that's it. I think it's an improvement. I mean, it's definitely the light with the property abuts the wetlands, what was currently existing there. And what we're trying to do here has been all about improvements. We made improvements, working with the ZBA, moving the house back, farther off the road, and we're working with you folks to remove the pad. And Steve, I think the other one was if we're removing the existing driveway gravelled area, what, if we place rocks along the roadway, so that wouldn't be used anymore, would that be?
I was just a comment what you're doing with the driveway.
Yeah,
It's not
so-
a
so
driveway
you mean-
anymore.
yeah.
This is the existing loop, there's an existing driveway loop that loops in here.
You can propose anything you want.
Oh, and the
Right
new
here.
drive would go right to this.
The new driveway is
garage
right here, it's paved,
Yep,
and then this here basically wouldn't be used anyways.
so you were gonna put rocks here just so that didn't get used.
Yeah, that would be the
That's
thought.
probably a good idea,
Does that make sense?
yeah. Also, if you're gonna pull out the cement and you're talking about proposing seeding it back to lawn,
Mhm.
could it be shrubbery instead of lawn? Because, I mean, if you're very close to the wetlands. I don't know that we want lawn to get that close to the buffer, because I'm afraid that people are gonna wanna mow and fertilize and things like that.
Yeah,
I don't know.
be about 40 feet or something.
I think just,
It's just that if they fertilize the lawn, it's a huge threat to the wetlands.
yeah, no, I think we're just trying to, seed and not, just natural seed with hay and not, just kind of bring it to grade and so that way there, any, water coming off the house has.
That's somewhere to go, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
something to prevent erosion, right?
Correct,
Grow
correct.
something in there, yeah.
Grass, that's the only reason why we're looking at doing that.
You're gonna remove the gravel?
We would,
Or-
no, we would place, rocks in front of the street area, so, to close off the existing gravel
And
area.
they end up losing most of this driveway loop anyways, because they gotta put the septic, or is the septic already, it's proposed?
Yeah.
Right, so they're gonna lose this whole chunk of driveway anyways, because they gotta put the septic in.
Yeah, but is it gonna sit there as a gravel? What's part of it?
Yeah. Well, it's gravel, it should throw back.
Yeah, it's a gravel area, so we wouldn't disturb it. We
Okay.
put the rocks there so it wouldn't be used anymore, and then we have the existing, new driveway that's being proposed.
Yeah, I can't imagine you'd wanna,
I mean, removing the, dog kennel pad and putting that into the lawn area, I mean, that's, now right now it sits high, it's close, and I think just from our discussion with Steve, I mean, I think it's an improvement, make that change. So, and what we're just proposing is, that's why we turned the house, was to get farther out of the wetlands area.
yep.
So,
Were you satisfied with his responses to your questions?
Yeah.
it's early.
The big area is pretty much, what's he doing with this area, the gravel and the dog kennel. I think everything else is staying in the original footprint of the existing dwelling. It's been there for years.
Yeah.
And it's not really, I mean, the grading, there's no grading, right? The
No.
only grading is the septic. There's no other grading.
That's
lines
it, yeah.
in
That-
Throughout the plan.
Just what you're required to do with the septic, and that's it.
Yep.
There's no, really want to maintain what's there.
And then no foundation drain because it's a slab.
Yep.
Do you know if you're gonna have to raise the area where the septic system is?
Right now, it's in-ground system, so.
And there's, looks like there is wall between the street and the house where the proposed driveway is, so
It's-
I assume that wall will get removed.
Yeah, it's not a historical wall, it's a man-made piecemeal wall. Nothing historic, not
Is
like.
it in your picture?
Yeah, I think that's part of it, yeah.
Yeah, that is, yep, that's,
Man-made.
I'm okay with
Not
that.
historical.
well, historical's still man-made.
No, but, well, man-made, stacked, meaning,
Yeah, okay.
From last Tuesday.
I think historical.
from last Tuesday.
I look at historical ones are like farm-made, you're right,
Right.
farmer stacked the boundaries.
Is that a two-family or a two-family house, or is it a single-family house?
It's a single-family,
Two-bedroom?
two-story, I think it was three-bedroom.
There it is. There's the wall.
Yeah, there's a little wall
Yeah, I think we're good.
and stuff. Okay.
Good looking as the tree.
Yeah, that, I mean, that's,
Is that enough driveway space and parking?
it's, two spots and then into the driveway.
It is two spots?
Yep.
Well, they got a garage
With the
right
width
behind
and
it,
everything.
so.
Yep.
The
Is
new
there-
house has the garage.
Yeah, you drive right in, so it's basically you can park 1, 2, and then you're 3 and 4 in the
Oh,
garage.
yeah, I didn't see that.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, we would remove the existing, asphalt where Steve's vehicle is, I guess. Is that yours, Steve?
It is.
Nice. Jeez. So that asphalt would get removed out of there, and that would go back to the lawn area, which is basically be swapping pavement area. That's all.
Any other comments? Anybody in the audience?
Now you're gonna continue.
We'll have to continue till I have it August 5th at 7:15.
7:15?
So moved. Oh, I'll
Close the
make
public
it.
hearing.
No,
I'll close the
have
hearing
somebody
first.
else make the motion, because you're acting chair.
Yeah, I'll move that we continue this to August 5th at 7:15.
Seconded.
All those in favor?
Oh, yeah. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you.
Yeah, I've actually walked this land.
Have you?
With your dog.
They were breeders for
Really?
Labrador retrievers,
Okay.
and I've been on the property.
All right, thank you for your time. Appreciate it. We're good.
So once you get that DEP number, just give that to Steve.
Yeah, yeah, and I'll get some updated plan and stuff like that. I'll get that to Steve.
Yeah.
For those changes.
And if you're gonna plant anything besides the lawn in the backyard there,
Yeah, I think we're just doing.
I would think about it.
Yep.
Okay, under discussion, Everett Andrews, 225 U Street. Come on over. Thanks for waiting.
No problem.
You got 2 copies of your thing.
Oh, sorry.
Give me one for the table if you want, there's not much
Tunnel
to see
press.
here. We're just proposing relocating the house. My client bought this property with an approved septic design and a proposed footprint for a house. And we've since had a different type of house design. Let's throw this on here.
So there's an existing order. I'll have Steve kind of give the background
Yeah,
to
so
the
this
members.
was in front of last fall or last winter, so,
I'm sorry?
was this, the approval was was it last fall?
It was last spring,
Last spring?
2018.
2018, okay.
And they purchased them. Oops.
Right, so he came in, he was in front of the commission, he got a approval, order of conditions, and then he purchased the property. We went out a few times, and you had to make sure that the erosion controls were with the approved plan. And so he wanted to modify the existing dwelling, so there's a mechanism for, if you can do a minor plan change, if it's not gonna be significantly different than what was approved. You come in front of the commission, and the commission can grant the minor plan change, and it goes to the file, because if you don't, years from now, when you get a certificate of compliance, could be a new member, new board, they're gonna look at the as-built and say it doesn't match up. So, or if you think that has a significant amount of change, you can have them amend the order of conditions and pretty much open the public hearing and then submit a new plan. All the work he's done some clearing. I went out a few times to certify the erosion controls. It was staked out, so he's cleared everything that in the existing order. What he wants to do is change the house, and I think he's got it. You can explain where.
Yeah, so we actually moved the wattles over to the 50-foot buffer zone because we're no longer doing any construction within the buffer zone. And the house has been shifted to the right, so to the west. And that'll allow the septic system to remain unchanged. It just changes the length of the driveway a little bit to get over to the garage. And it allows us, I believe, to have the septic tank a little bit closer to the building because it's the garage foundation, not the house foundation.
Where's the
Slab
garage
on
now?
That's not labeled real well. It's in the red hatched kind of group
Yeah.
of rectangles there, closest to the septic system.
Okay.
Probably where the
They-
driveway's gonna go right into the.
So
They come in from this
where's
side
the
or from the front?
driveway?
Driveway's here, and instead of going straight into the garage, it's gonna loop around behind the septic system
Wanna take a
and
turn?
into the two-car garage.
Oh, the garage is in the front.
It's in the front, yeah,
Then why isn't the driveway in front of the garage?
because the garage doors face this side. And because we didn't,
So you're not coming straight in off the street?
no, we're not
You
going
didn't- you
straight
didn't-
No.
up the street.
So he's going like
There's
this.
a turn,
Yeah.
So this is outside, this is the 100-foot
Outside the
buffer.
buffer, yeah.
So
So
this
he
is
can do-
mostly
okay.
outside the buffer.
Yeah.
You're gonna go back to Board of Health for this?
Board of Health signed off for my building permit application. So I'm just here to let you folks
With
know.
everything here, you're gonna have the tank under the driveway?
That's a good point. These changes were made after they signed off.
Of course they did. They were, I mean, you got your
Good
D
catch.
boxes right here is
Yeah.
like 3 feet off the
So,
garage.
Okay, so the house moved significantly.
Yeah,
I had discussions with Board of Health, and they said if we make a small change to the septic to accommodate the new house location,
Mhm.
that could be taken care of in an as-built
okay.
condition instead of doing a whole new design.
Okay, so you're gonna put it in the reserve and then you're gonna move the tank over so it's not in the
Right.
driveway.
Right, and I've contracted with Andrew's survey to kind of revamp this whole thing.
Okay. And those changes are outside of our jurisdiction, so we're pretty much concerned with, they are removing this part of the house and keeping, and
And shifting it, really.
yeah,
Yeah.
so you don't have a square foot that you're decreasing the
It's decreasing the amount of square
house
feet in the wetland.
within, yeah,
Or the
Yeah.
wetland.
within the buffer.
Yeah, so apparently there was a bump made inside the 50-foot buffer zone to accommodate construction of the original footprint of the house.
Mhm.
And now this new one is so far from there that I installed the erosion control measures on the 50-foot line, so we're actually not even
Yeah,
impacted.
we went out and measured, I measured them from the
Oh, nice.
flags.
Yeah.
So you don't have a square footage that you're actually decreasing within our buffer
I don't,
by any
no.
chance? Okay, so you
That
don't
would be a
know.
good calculation to bring to us.
Yeah, and I think if Andrews is already revamping the plan, I'd like to see where everything is. And I think that's a good argument that you're reducing the amount of buffer zone activity.
Yeah, whatever this little,
That's one
Wedge,
part, but also the house
Also, the
part.
house is less.
Compare this area
Right.
to this area
Right.
yeah,
as a percentage.
it's smaller, yes. I
But-
don't know
but
that
like-
number.
Right, but you
Not
can get
yet.
that number.
Sure
Yeah.
could, yep.
So I would consider this minor only because of the reduction of the impacts, moving all activity outside the 50. We've got less of an impact, but I would like to see the plan before. I think we can make that new plan as part of the record, if you're doing it anyway. You've got your erosion control, you're probably not gonna do anything until you have that plan, right?
I was hoping to stump a area so I can get a well truck back here.
You can do other work within the erosion controls, because it's part of the original,
Yeah,
the
you can
well,
do
the limit of
everything.
disturbance, like we talked about it, I had you put it right where the original order is.
Yeah,
So you got approval for the limit of clearing on the original order, and you can put the house where it was approved. The fact you wanna move it,
that's why I'm.
that's why you're here, but you can do the work, the other work.
Okay. So you're gonna
After
see
the
a
original
cleaned
order.
up version of this.
Mhm.
Purcell is no longer involved, he's the
Right.
one that designed it.
Yeah, so you can do that, of course.
Yeah,
You can
okay.
do that.
So I guess the fair thing would say is if he comes back, do you want him to file an amendment, or the work he's doing right now is good enough for a plan change as long as he has an updated plan?
Yeah, I think submit a revised plan, and we'll put it in the notes as far as the date of the revised plan. And I think it's less impactful than what was previously approved. What is an active, you have an active order right now, right?
Yeah, the order of conditions are,
Date was
they've
this?
been
2000,
recorded, it's 2018.
Okay.
Um,
alright,
where is it?
right there.
Yeah,
just
Somebody
put the-
signed it, but
Put the order on the plan.
the number of the
The
order
number.
of
or do you have
conditions.
any
Yeah,
questions?
there's a
Are you
file
in
number.
agreement that you think this is a minor modification where you're moving away from activity and
Yes.
also structures, less of a structure within our buffer?
Yeah, I just want to see a clean plan.
Exactly, I just want to see the paperwork that follows the changes.
Yeah. In case all of us are gone.
I guess so that's something that could be done as a matter of course. My concern is getting the well permit and the building permit
Well, the
secured.
building permit, you have to wait until you come back on the 5th.
August 5th,
Okay, so
That's
that's
an
where we're
update
at.
with a
yeah.
cleaner
You
plan.
could build what you have there, so you can get the well in. You can
Okay.
get,
I would have had that tonight, given vacations and the holidays
Oh, yeah,
and
for
stuff.
sure.
We
And
got
just have
bogged
one
down
of
a little
Andrews,
bit, but-
have him type up something, showing the amount of square footage, how much it's less than.
Percentage.
Because we need to make
Percentage.
the case also. This is not just something that is,
That is the
our
opinion.
opinion. This is, you either meet the requirements for a minor modification, or you have to have an amended order with a re-notification and refiling. So that's why we need the paperwork to prove that we are
Okay.
meeting the requirements of the regulation for
Do you know-
minor.
Do you know what that threshold is?
I do, yeah. Not off the top of my
Care
head,
to share? Okay.
but I've read it out loud before here.
Alright.
4 meetings ago.
Yep.
So, it has to be less impactful, and the change cannot be a significant change. Say you were making it, within the 50,
Right.
kind of, that would trigger it to be more impactful. You would have to do an amended order.
Okay, so just so I'm clear, we are less impactful.
Yes,
Mhm.
that's my
And-
opinion right now.
Yeah,
at
it
this
would
moment.
appear.
Yeah.
And the percentage you're looking for is the percentage of how much I'm less impactful?
Yeah, so you can say, okay, I was approved to go here, this is the square footage of land, you move the erosion control up here, then you don't have this house part right here, you have it moved over here outside the 100.
Okay.
Which our jurisdiction is only up to here.
Gotcha.
So all this square footage, you're pretty much only doing this square footage
Within your.
Compared
with the
to-
deck, compared to
what?
this whole square
That is
footage.
actually on the old house, the new one.
Well,
is-
see, I
You
can't
can't
see
tell
that
that. Gotcha.
because,
Okay, so there's a tipping point though, it sounds like. Like if I
Mhm.
wanted to put the house even further, that's like 100% change? I'm
if you
just trying
put,
to
no, if you put the
understand.
house over here, you don't have to do anything. You
Okay.
can say,
But
just
I
say to
can-
us, it's not gonna be within the 100.
Yeah.
And you'd
right.
have your well, which is already approved.
Cool.
And this is already approved, and this is already approved.
Okay.
Well,
So
Tracy,
I-
you'd still have to go through the same procedure. You'd still have to.
Right, submit a plan, but he could probably proceed with a building permit
As a
if the house was 100% outside the well.
Then he wouldn't have to come back to us specifically.
Yeah, because he can do the well under the original order right now.
Okay.
Are you 50 feet from the street?
With the well?
The house?
The house.
Yes.
This is 58 right here.
Yeah.
This is the setback line, looks like. No,
No,
no.
it isn't. The
There is no
setback-
setback line.
It's 40 feet in the front,
50.
isn't it? Is it
50.
50?
Yep.
Well, we're more than 58.
There you go.
Okay.
All right, well, I guess
So
I'll see
you
in
kind of
August.
understand where we're going with that. You can
Yep.
proceed with the well,
That's
and
fine.
Steve's already checked your erosion control.
Yeah.
So that's clearing, the well, just no real construction until the 5th.
What do you have in front?
And if you want to submit the plan before, and Steve can make sure that it's good for us, so that you'll get your
Yeah.
approval, because we're gonna have to do a formal vote on that
So,
modification.
hopefully.
What was your question?
Oh, I was just going to ask, is this a walkway in front?
What
No,
are you
I think
pointing
it's
at?
distances,
Okay, thank you.
or
Yeah, those are-
grading.
Those are grades.
Okay,
All the lines look the same on this
thank
plan.
you.
So we'll,
I'll
if
have
you
a
wanna
nicer looking
submit that,
plan for you.
if you wanna submit the plan from Andrews as well as kind of the summary of the changes, and so we can have that documented on file, and then it should be good for the meeting, but get that in as soon as it's
Yeah.
ready.
All righty.
Thank you.
Yeah. it'll be-
Good luck. Okay, request for a certificate, thank you. Request for a certificate of compliance, Stockwood Realty, Douglas Hill Way, off of Northwest Main.
So that's Wetland Reservoir Estates. I went out there, I gave them some comments, and they're gonna wait until address some of my comments, which was pretty much a Wetland Reservoir Estates. They came a couple of meetings ago. It's
Yep.
the detention pond is the only part that's in the jurisdiction, but it's not mowed, it's overgrown, they have to mow it, maintain it. That was one of them. I also asked for, that they get go in front of the planning board, get approval from the planning board, that it meets the planning board specs since it's part of the subdivision for the planning board. And that he also said in his letter that it's substantially compliant with the order, so I asked what wasn't compliant and list those areas that's not compliant, so since it's not 100%. And is the stormwater 100% complete?
Yeah, they're saying that vegetation maintenance in accordance with the stormwater operations and maintenance plan for the stormwater operation should be performed.
Right.
And it is Waiton Heights subdivision.
What did I say, Whitens?
I don't know what you were saying,
Is
reservoir
it Whitens or
something?
Whitens? It's
No,
Whitens.
no,
Always
you-
Whitens.
Oh, it's Whitens.
You said reservoir estates or something.
Whitens Reservoir Estate, oh, it's something else.
That's
Oh, it's
Whiten
Whitens. Oh,
Heights.
sorry.
That's okay.
They-
So
they
we're
filed
waiting
20
on
years
that.
ago. And then in the order of conditions, they have a pre and post maintenance schedule and stuff that's supposed to be done. So I asked for documentation on the pre and post construction activities and cleaning catch basins and everything else that they've done before we close it out.
Yeah,
Okay, sounds
yeah,
good.
it's better to wait.
So,
We're holding that. 134 Southeast Main Street.
yeah, I'll have to follow up with that. That was the plan that was all in red.
No.
Lots of grading.
And because it was, the scale was different.
Yeah.
So it looked like it wasn't really an as-built, but we determined that there was that second driveway, or shared driveway was part of this order that they didn't do.
They didn't complete
And
the
then,
work
so
yet.
They were supposed to follow up, and I haven't heard back from them, so
Okay.
I'll follow up with them.
Complaint 25 South Street?
Yeah, so
Have that.
Yes.
it was
you
from the
have it in your packet.
DEP, so I went out Friday or Saturday. I've been out there a couple times, because there was some other complaints. Yeah, I haven't been out there in a year. They filed back in 2009. I haven't been out there in a while, so I drove through and I actually met the head grounds people.
Where you live, isn't it?
The head grounds people out there when I drove through, and I didn't see, when I drove through, I don't know if anyone's been through there, but it's a camp. And there's a bunch of little cottages scattered throughout the property, and a river that runs through it. Some of the cottages are within feet. Maybe the river goes through some of the porches. It's been around for years.
Yeah, campground.
Campground. I did not see any loose debris or anything when I drove through, and on my way out, I saw the two groundskeepers. They said they did redo one of the roofs maybe a month ago. That could have been it.
This
And,
is the campground.
yep,
Okay, yep.
and they've been picking up debris actually throughout the camp, getting ready for the start of camp next week. And walking through the entire site, loose trash, debris, whatever they have, they called it. They put little piles and then they take that and move it to a field that they have out in the back. But I didn't see anything out of the ordinary. Besides, I didn't really see anything when I drove through. And, I mean, I didn't walk around, but they said it was by the stream. When you drive through, you can kind of see the stream and all the
Oh, yeah, I
cottages.
go through there all the time.
Right, so, they said they will be doing a foundation, so I said, well, when you do that, you'll have to file to redo one of the old foundations of one of the small cottages.
Yep.
I emailed the gentleman from DEP about my observations.
Sounds good.
Um,
Last time I went through there, I didn't see any of the debris that you're talking about that's described, so.
Recently?
Yeah, probably every other week or so I walk through it.
Yeah, someone's been complaining, but I haven't seen anything. I went the second time I've been in a month.
Yep, I didn't see anything either.
You can drive up to the field and drive back. They filed, so in 2009, they filed for the new barn, the red one.
Yep.
And they actually filed an RDA or an NOI, I can't remember, 10, 15 years ago to replace some of the decks.
I was volunteering there in 2009.
Okay. So,
I remember
some of the cottages had decks
Yep.
and maybe a roof and some stuff that's right on the river, so they actually filed for that work.
Okay.
So there's no action for us to take here.
No.
No, it's just FYI.
And then, we have a voucher, MACC annual dues. Fiscal year 2020, looks like $287. Mark's on here and Eric's on here as associate. That looks good. We also received a couple volunteer waiver forms. 4 of them for trail maintenance over at, Southeast Main Street, our land,
Keevan property.
the Keevan property, so we did have them file, so just in case
Yep.
anyone's asking.
So the commission can just approve those, and then That was the form that was approved by legal counsel for, in order for volunteers to do work on town property,
Does anybody want to take a peek at this?
So they came in front, so there's some trails throughout the property. We had a meeting, we showed some videos that they're gonna do some light work for the walking trails. I don't know if they have chainsaws or not, they might have
I
some
don't
light
believe
chain
so.
work. But, so procedurally, I guess the commission will
Handsaw.
approve the work, and then we'll hand this liability form out to the selectman's office, so they can have it on file.
And Uxbridge they have a conservation land regulation that they've adopted, kind of outlining what activities that you can do on our conservation land. So that may be something that we sent it to town council, so Steve will check on maybe refreshing our regs and including that, or having it as a separate document, just because these guys are really interested in, maintaining it and clearing the path and walking it. And
They do.
so there's 4, Catherine Peterson, Lenny Peterson,
Oh, you've got it.
Caesar,
And William.
and William, and if we can just, you want a formal vote?
I think so, yeah. Just say you approve the activity.
We've approved the activities
And
that
the
these guys, William Gagnon. Caesar Mora del Mejo,
Mello.
maybe? Mello. And then the other 2 that I said,
So when they came in, we had them, they've been corresponding with Sue
Yep.
Perkins and Open Space, and it's because we're gonna do a little bit more. Right now, intermediately, step 1 is they have some natural walking trails where pine trees are going over, you can't walk over them. It's kind of clear the natural trails out there
for sure.
now. And then the further step 2 or 3 is, with this land, gave an easement for a little parking area, 1 or 2 cars that will work with the highway department. And then from the street, to clear a path to these walking trails.
Okay.
Equestrian and the passive recreation.
Is there oversight of volunteers from the board or from somebody to,
Oh, this is the
is
first.
it needed to?
This is the first.
the very
No,
first
right?
time.
Well, the second. The only other time we had volunteers work on there was we had an Eagle Scout go out and do a bridge out on the Zinski property off of Milford,
Yep.
which was kind of overseen by the scouts, and we went out there and looked at it again.
So they're working with
So
open
I'll be going
space
out
Yeah.
there.
And,
It
yeah.
was a short-lived
I'll
project.
contact them and I'll
As
go
far
out
as
when they're
time,
doing the work.
it's okay.
I just have read stories about the state and the state allowing volunteers and trails getting cut where, more trails than were necessary and needed. And
So that's a good point. So this is
So-
organically the first, I'm sure we're gonna be adding if there's more volunteers.
I would like to see
Right.
us adopt some sort of conservation land regulation,
Right.
so that we can rely on that as far as if someone's not doing the correct thing or doing something out of the scope, we can say, this is your piece of paper that you're allowed to do.
Follow this.
Yeah. Versus just saying, oh, we said you could do this, but
So they came to us 3 to 6 months ago, so it took a while to go to, just can't have them do the work. We got this form from legal counsel and liability, because it's really town property. It's not the commission's property.
So I would actually love to make a motion to approve these volunteers to go ahead and start the work that we discussed earlier.
Sure.
motion's on the floor. Do I hear a second?
Second.
All's in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So what do we need to do to initiate starting to put together some regulations, something in writing for these guys to follow, as opposed to just oral instructions on what they're supposed to do?
They have, on the waiver, they do have a description of what they're gonna be doing, a description of proposed activities. They do have that. We did send a draft that Uxbridge uses for their conservation land
Yeah,
to
so
town council.
So we'll follow up with that.
So we'll wait to
Steve
hear
will
from...
wait, yeah, Steve will follow up with them. The other thing is, we need to update our web
Yeah, that's a,
page.
Just maintain
So-
the existing trails doesn't really say a lot, you know?
No, understood.
right.
That could be-
What they're using for tools
Yeah,
is
criminals.
also, they're gonna have a backhoe in there, so that's
Yeah.
gonna be limiting
We're-
on
I'll
what
work
they
on
can
the,
actually do.
The website.
So our page needs to be refreshed, adding the new members and updating whose terms are what. Also, maybe we can talk later on
website's a tough
adding,
one.
our regulations.
It's a tough website to update.
A,
I bet.
That's not
you know,
easy.
not
The new
user
one?
friendly.
It's supposed to be easier, isn't it?
I thought it was pretty computer savvy. I must be getting old.
Well, we don't need to go there. But at
take
least,
another look.
can we
Maybe
at
they
least get
changed
the
it.
terms and the people correct?
Yes, yes.
Okay. All right, that would be good. That would be a good start.
That's helpful.
I like all
Well, I
the
like it.
links, all the paperwork.
All that stuff, yeah.
Yeah,
I was hoping
all
to
of
be
our
able to
land.
cut and paste that stuff, so.
we did mention we were gonna find out our land with the cold water fisheries in our town.
Right,
We were
right.
supposed to
I
get
did
that.
Yeah, I have
report.
that email. Oh,
Okay.
I forgot it for this meeting.
Okay. I can't remember everything. All right. Anybody else have anything that is unanticipated? Any questions? New members? No. Mike, do you want to do some meeting minutes?
Yeah, but what happened, are we gonna sign this voucher?
Yep, I said it was $287.
Thank you. Yeah, I have. I guess the only set of minutes we had before tonight's meeting was this, May 13th.
Yep.
All right, so I do have a comment on May 13th meeting minutes. First page, 7:20 PM. 1, 2, 3. The third sentence, the end of the third sentence begins a new sentence. It says, "There is," and the fourth sentence says, "A shared driveway will cross the wetlands."
That will cross.
We need
Yep.
the word "that" inserted there. There you
Okay.
go.
At the top of the page, you've changed the year to 2019.
Yes.
Don't we wish we were a year younger?
And then a lot of missing DEP numbers, but there always is, so I don't know.
If they're not available at the time of the meeting.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we should just keep it that way so that
Okay.
it's,
That's what happened.
Yeah.
That's all I had. Anybody else? Want a motion?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll make a motion to accept the meeting minutes
As amended.
as amended for May 13th, 2019.
Seconded.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. All right, I'm gonna pass around a couple, the deer crossing, the voucher, and the one for Denise Davis at 161 Maple
I'll add
Street.
those changes to the 161, which is the boulders along those
Yep,
flags.
and then
And
the restoration by the end of September.
Correct.
I guess nobody else has read any of these other.
No.
Yes.
Here, stretch it up.
Getting my foot caught in her purse.
Oh,
But that's
I'm
okay,
sorry.
that's okay, I got it out.
Let me just go. What else, Steve? Anything else while we're
I
signing?
think that's it.
You did get the subscription, $15 subscription for the
Yeah,
Conservation
you have the
Commission.
link? You guys want the
We
link?
going this way?
I'm not sure.
That one is.
Can you make sure that it's shareable
Okay.
before we spread it around?
So,
MACC Conservation Commissioners Handbook subscription.
so just a side note, so 88 West Street, Whipple. So went to the DEP, contacted the nephew, I think it's the nephew. So, corresponded with him, gave him that, because it was a superseding order, and they're going to, because it expired, he's going to have to refile.
Yes, that's correct.
Is that name Whipple?
Ed Whipple.
Nate Whipple, I remember Nate Whipple.
Well, it's son-in-law.
Yep.
It's the Whipple, Green Acres.
Not technically, but we have enough signatures, so you probably,
Yeah, you
it's a non-voting
you don't need
member.
You don't need this. Who?
Eric.
No, I don't think he can sign.
That's okay.
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 Also with the formatting, you've cut off the signatures in one line
Where?
on all the, orders here. So for future,
That's the DEP form.
no, it never used to be that way.
They're new. Is that the, what's the date on that form? What's the bottom right hand corner?
2015 is this one.
Which one?
And is there a date on the bottom left? 2010.
2010.
So this one's 2015, and all the signatures are
Oh, what's she
correct.
using? Huh.
2010 she's using.
All right, we need to talk to her about that. It's a clerical mistake.
I think we got enough lines for the people.
Imagine that.
Eric doesn't sign all the, the lines. Okay, send over those that you've signed. Let me just make sure.
It should be
This is yours.
2017.
Yep. So let's just use, you have to
Oh.
sign here.
It's that one.
Mark, you don't want to sign this one?
No,
Voucher?
I didn't vote.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear you abstain.
You didn't
I
say
think that's
anyone
everybody.
deny or abstain.
Oh.
I didn't say anything.
Okay. So Mark's abstaining from the voucher.
And from the order of conditions as well?
Yeah, I didn't vote on any of those because I didn't feel comfortable. I hadn't been
Yeah.
here for all the previous
It
meetings.
was given.
I understand. Well, we gotta do a motion to adjourn.
If you would like to.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
A second.
All's in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.